Bonnets, durags, pajamas in public and on campus to be ghetto or not to be. That's what we're going to be discussing right here on the next episode of the Pure Vibe Show. Greetings, family. Welcome back to another episode of the Pure Vibe Show. I'm your host, King Fire. Family, today we're talking about a hot subject. I know everybody here it is buzzing around. People are talking and debating about it, but it seems like Tuskegee came out and put a ban on people wearing pajamas, slippers, or slides and bonnets and durags, etc., etc. on campus. And a lot of people are in an uproar, upset about that, and a lot of people are calling it ghetto. Do I think it's ghetto?
Baby.com, local college students reacting to Tuskegee University's decision to ban bonnets and durags. The HBCU in Alabama says students may not wear the accessories to class or to the cafeteria. And the decision's getting mixed reaction from students at our local HBCUs, Norfolk State University and Hampton University.
I would never call people ghetto because I don't know what people's lifestyle is like, and I won't brand people with that name or title just because they wore those things out in the public or whatever have you. But I will say this: representation and presentation is very important. And do I like to see women walking around with those popcorn bag bonnet things on? No, I don't. I prefer not to see that out in the public, you know? But yeah, people are free to do what they do. But you have to take in consideration that your first impression is the best impression, or your first impression is the impression that people get of you, you know? And when I see people walking around like that, I don't have the most astute impression that this person is in the best of spirits, that they're ready to go, like they're ready for the day, they're ready to be out and, you know, functioning in the world. To me, a lot of times it shows that this person might have been in a lazy mode. This person could be depressed. This person could not have been feeling up to getting dressed today. You know, it could have a lot of different reasons on why people come out like that. But to me, it does not scream high self-esteem. It does not scream somebody in their best presentation, if you ask me, you know? I think the way that we dress is the way that we feel a lot of the times, but we have to understand too that the way we dress and way we carry ourselves is a representation, and that's how people are going to view us, because people are just going by the impression that you're giving them for the very first time them coming across you or seeing you. And I think being on your best is always the best way to be, you know? Always stepping outside on your best, on your A game. Not because you want to impress anybody, but because you want to reflect high self-esteem. You want to reflect presentation and representation in your best way, in your best form, doing it at your best level. There's a lot of things in the culture I feel like we could do better at. I'm definitely not into the sagging pants. You know, a lot of brothers out here with the wear the skinny jeans and pull them way down. And then I see a lot of them trying to run from the police and the pants hanging all the way down, tripping them over. I don't even know why we still doing that, you know? I did come from an era where we wore durags outside. We used to wear durags under our fitted cap. This was in the, you know, in the 90s era, you know, up to the 50 cents era, probably somewhere in the early 2000s, people were still doing that around that time. But even that, to a point, you have to draw back, and you can't go to certain places, you know, dress. But I mean, you could go anywhere you want, anyhow you want to, you know, but those things doesn't fit the motif sometimes. It doesn't fit the environment, you know. You need to dress to impress and always be on your best. I remember being a little youth and my mom coming to the front door to see me out with a scarf on her head, and me being like, no, mom, go back inside, because I was feeling so ashamed that my mother had a scarf on, just a simple scarf on. That's just to tell you how her representation was important to me, because I didn't want to I didn't ever want people to see my mom and think that she was some type of, some type of junkie or some type of lazy type of woman, because my mother was a working 9-to-5 woman. So I wanted her to reflect that when people see my mother on her best, see her step out in her shirtlet and her fine jewelry and looking her best with her fly hairstyles and things that she used to do. See my mother on them type of levels. I didn't want people to see my mother in her house wearing her house gear. So it's the same way I feel about any sister I see out in public. I wouldn't want my daughters to go out in public with their bonnet on, especially these ridiculous sized bonnets they have on today. And I get it, women do what they do for their hair protection and whatever have you. I understand it, I get that, but I still think those are things that should be more kept inside, not brought outside in the public, because again, representation and presentation is very important. The impression you give people for the very first time is very important, because people take that, and a lot of times people take the presentation and the representation that you're giving to them and they deal with you in that way. A lot of times they give you that type of energy in that way, and I'm not saying that you have to be dressed in a 3-piece suit, or some hard bottom shoes or anything like that. I'm just saying when we step out, we should always step out on our best. If you ever look at old school photos of black people back in the old days, back in the golden days, they would dress up to par, very fresh, very neat. Some of them wore things that I wouldn't wear. I'm not into dressing into suits and hard bottoms all day long, but the way that they looked, they came across very professional, very clean, very dapper and upright. And I think we need to carry on that tradition. To me, black culture is fly culture, the culture that presents on a certain type of level that sets the trend. So walking around in pajamas and bedroom slippers and bonnets or whatever have you, I don't think it's a good look. People are free to do what they want to do. This is my opinion. This is why we have this show. Leave your comments down below. People can do what they want to do, but in my opinion, it's not a good look. It just is not a good look to come out in public like that. As a culture, I just hope we would do better and present ourselves on higher levels, I just want to see us do our best and look our best when we step out and when we represent ourselves. It's at its highest peak, When we step out, we got to look fresh, clean, and up to par. We shouldn't be looking like we just rolled out of bed. That's my opinion. People can do what they want. This is why we have the show. Leave the comments down below. But all I'm saying is we need to step it up. The popcorn bag, the bonnets coming out the house, the pants sagging below the waist, brothers. A lot of these things don't look right. They don't represent the culture right. They don't represent you as a person right. And in my opinion, I don't care. I never, what people eat don't make me, what, you see? But I'm just looking at it from a cultural perspective. When people see that, it makes it look like this is just what the culture is like. And I think we're more than that. I think we're better than that. So I think we need to represent on a higher level than that. Family, this has been another episode of the Pure Vibe Show. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, as it helps your channel to grow and for more people to know. Hey, family, this is just my opinion. Leave the comments down below. That's why we have the show. Until next time, family, peace, love, and pure vibes.